There is a rare and very, lonely positive this recently, what's been going on with West Ham, and that is the fact that the injury side of things seems to be greatly improving for David Moyes. We seem to be having players coming back, and one player we want to talk about in particular is Max Cornet. So obviously he's been out, mate, for Jesus Christ, for 5 months with this calf injury that we all thought was just going to be a couple of weeks, and it's just gone on and on and on. I've got to say, though, as much as it's been a bit of a joke, and then I was expecting him to come back and possibly not have too much involvement and have the typical David Moyes, oh, he needs a lot of time to bed in and all this kind of stuff. He's come back in and looked really good. I'm really impressed with him, actually. Very, very lively, fresh, and up for it, and good attitude about him. What's your feelings on it? Do you think that Cornet is going to play a key role for West Ham in our battle to stay up?
I mean, I should hope so. The issue is he's got quite a lot of competition at the moment with players like, Ben Rama and Bowen. I mean, especially Ben Rama, he just seemed irreplaceable at the moment. I just can't see him, getting dropped. Bowen, maybe you could make a case, 20 minutes ago, chuck on someone like Cornet. I think maybe more the sort of striker role. But then again, we've got, Ings, we've got Antonio, and that's all the strikers we've got at the club. So, Cornet, I think he'll be a good impact sub. That's what I think. I don't think he doesn't seem like he's going to be embedded into the lineup anytime soon, but I think it'd be a great impact sub. We always talked about Antonio being a good impact sub because he's strong, he's powerful. Chuck Cornet on with 20 minutes to go. The guy's fast, he's electric, good at dribbling, and he can play multiple positions as well. So I think he's a brilliant utility player, and he's actually alive. He can kick a ball. He can play football again. It's it's great to see.
Yeah, and it's also putting David Moyes in an interesting position now because it's almost like it's an excuse he can't now use, is that, we've had such a nightmare of injuries, haven't got players available, etc. Which, let's be honest, I think has played a very pivotal role this season. I'm not saying it's the reason, but I think losing players this season has been an absolute blow for us. It's just typical West Ham fashion. All these new signings, they all seem to get badly injured. We had it with Scamacca, Paqueta was out for a fair bit. Obviously, we lost Naya for Gerd for the first few months, and then we lost, just had Cornet come back. It's just typical West Ham. But, I mean, let's be honest, it's probably the best time now at the moment. Now we've got the run into the end of the season. We've got the final 12 games and we desperately need some points. It does feel like we've pretty much got a full-strength team. I mean, the only injuries we've got at the moment now that are outstanding are Lucas Fabianski, who is back training, but he's had obviously a plate fitted into his eye, or his eye, socket. He had a which he broke, and then you've got the heel injury to Vladimir Soufal, and I believe ex-WH employee is going to provide an update on it, but I believe he will be back or in contention to be back for the Southampton game. So it looks like we've actually got a full strength team finally, Riley. We've actually got a full strength squad available. It's now down to Mr. Moyes. He's run out of excuses. Is this something you think is going to play? I mean, obviously, surely it can't be a negative, can it, going into the final run-in for these last few games?
It can't be a negative, but again, I just don't know how much Moyes is going to utilise these players. I mean, Scamacca comes back from injury and he just simply refuses to play him. You got players like Cornet who come back from injury and he chucks them straight in. So he's definitely got his own sort of idea on who he wants to play and who he doesn't want to play. When Soufal comes back, will he get chucked back in for Johnson? No idea. Again, the only reason he's playing Areola is because Fabianski got injured, when there is a big debate about, who's the better number one there. So I don't know. It's a weird one with Moyes. I've said it before. It seems like if someone gets injured and they take the person's spot and they do an okay job at taking the person's spot, the person who got injured when they do come back from injury never seem to actually get that chance to reaffirm themselves back in the lineup that they were in and would have been in had they not been injured. Same situation with someone like Scamacca and Cornet when he's playing, and the Soufal Johnson rotation of, well, if you're injured, you're playing. If you're not injured, you're playing. It's strange. But, at the end of the day, Moyes has literally every single tool at his disposal now. He's got the team that he's bought, spent 180 million on. Everyone is fit now. He's got his dream partnership of Zuma and Aged. He can play 3 at the back if he wants to. He can play, 2 at the back if he wants to. Do whatever he wants, basically. So he is able to be the architect of his own downfall. And yeah, it's just positive to have a few more attacking options back. You've got 3 fit strikers at the club for the first time in
Yeah,
God knows how long. We've
400
got
years, I think. Yeah.
we've got a lot of cover, and it will definitely, if it's not leading the Premier League, it will definitely be needed in the Conference League at least.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because that's what I was going to ask you as well. It's I think not only now do we have that available for our last 12 games, and people need to bear in mind as well. I know we're all panicking, and I'm certainly one of them as well, very anxious about it, is that we've still got a third of the season effectively still to play in the Premier League. It's, we still have a fair bit to go. There's a lot of points up for grabs, and this is the perfect time for David Moyes there to have these options available. Effectively, that excuse is now pulled away from him. You can't keep saying that injuries are a problem, because this is now your team. You've got your availability. There's no, he's not being forced into playing certain formations or forced into playing certain players in certain positions out of position. That should not be happening. Like, players should be available. And also, what it does also offers West Ham, which is quite exciting, I think, is having a very strong bench for these games that we need to win. I mean, when you've got the likes of, say, Southampton and Newcastle at home, for me, they're both must-win games now. We need to get the maximum points. This is when you need your first team, a squad of players available. You want your Cornets available on the bench. You want your Scamacas. You want these people there to throw on to get the job done. This is where, unfortunately, I think David Moyes lacks any kind of managerial nous at all. He just seems to lack. Well, not so much managerial nous, it's more just confidence. He just doesn't seem to have that about him to utilize these players correctly. And if he does make his decisions, they're always a bit late. But the other positive side, as you said, mate, is the fact that we've got the Conference League. We need these players available. I mean, when you look at Cornet, I mean, the Conference League, dare I say, it could be perfect for him. You'd imagine if he wants to rest Benrahma for the Premier League games, and surely Cornet is going to play a key role now towards and the end of our European adventure, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I'd have thought so, mate. I mean, like I said, he's got a lot of competition. If he wants to get rid of getting ahead of Benrahma, he's got Fornals nipping at his heels. The only person I think he could give a really good run of money to is someone like Bowen. I don't really think we have anyone to really step in for Bowen if he got injured. So having him to be able to play on the right-hand side, except for maybe Antonio, I think would be quite positive for us. And again, he's a different type of striker to someone like Ings or Scamacca. Even so, a little bit different to someone like Antonio. He's very direct. He's very quick. Like I say, he's a brilliant utility player. Can play across the front line. Suppose he can play at left back as well if he needed to. So for me, especially with the injuries that probably will come towards the end of the season, this is a very rare occurrence for West Ham. It won't last very long. There'll be, some sort of, bus crash or something like that, and not half the team will have broken ankles or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I think he's going to be a pivotal part of both our Premier League and Conference League journey. But definitely more as like a super sub.
Yeah, I don't deny that, mate. I think he will be. And what I've seen of him so far, mate, he's looking bloody lively and really up for it, which is really great to see.